Life has no real purpose. That sounds so bad, that just sounds evil and morally wrong. Every day we get told that you have to live life with optimism and hope, but especially with recent events and just living, it just seems like there's no point. Sometimes you get knocked down or something bad happens and it gets so stressful, and you just think to yourself, what's the point? You know? And that's a very valid and understandable thing to feel. Because sometimes life just knocks you down a peg and you just feel lost and hopeless. But I'm gonna tell you that you're right. That sounds so bad, but life doesn't really have a purpose, Life is just like we all get born, no matter where you're from, who you are, who you love, who you don't love, what religion you are, all our differences, we all have the same lifespan. We get born, we go from kids to adults, some faster than others, unfortunately, but we all get born, we all go to become adults, we all grow old, we all die. Some of us get blessed with a more happier death with loved ones or anything, but not everyone's blessed with that. But the one thing that we all have is the knowledge that we will die. And that sounds so sad, like we're all gonna die. It's like when you were like 5 and you heard for the first time the sun's gonna explode, and you thought to yourself, oh no, what will I do? It's so over, but I think that's kind of reassuring. I wrote this down when I was thinking, but there is no meaning to life. We are born, we eat, we sleep, some of us work, some of us don't, but we make offspring, and then we die. There's no grand meaning, no cosmic revelation for us to do good. We aren't like animals whose purpose is simple. For example, a bee. Bees care for the queen, they make honey, they pollinate flowers. It's a beautiful, beautiful cycle, but we aren't hardwired to any greater purpose. If you ask someone on the street, like their life, if you ask their life story, and you ask someone else on the street their life story, you get two completely different things. If you asked a honeybee their life story, if they could speak, and another honeybee their life story, it would be the exact same thing. Maybe one went to a tulip and one went to a rose, but it'd be the same. By the way, I'm sorry, I don't know much about honeybees, but we live to die. And it sounds so depressing, like I said, but it's an objective fact. Life in itself is pointless. It's like a system, a carefully made system. And it cultivates this mundane misery. We just don't have purpose. The meaning of life is blank, And because we're not just animals, we're human beings, that kills us. We all aspire for something. And when you get the revelation that there's nothing to aspire to, or that there's no grand purpose, it's just like, damn, It just is so heartbreaking. And as I said earlier, it can lead people to feel like, what's the point? Why should I even stay? And that's a really sad thing. And I said earlier that we are humans and we think, we have consciousness. And it makes us different to animals like bees, who I keep using bees, but like bees who just make honey, pollinate, and help the environment. And what? They're very good workers. They really help us. If you watch the bee movie, you know we need bees, but we are we have a higher consciousness, you know. There's this one quote, cogito ergo sum. I'm definitely not pronouncing that right, but I learned it from my favorite book, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. In the book, this character, Am, said it in this cool speech, you know, and the whole book's, I love the book, I'd recommend, but the principle of cogito ergo sum is I think, therefore I am. And what it basically means is like, if we are able to question our own consciousness and our own thinking, then that makes us conscious beings. I don't know if that really made sense, but it means like if we're able to doubt our own like existence, it proves that we are conscious. And it means we exist enough to doubt ourselves. And that just sounds like a whole paradox, but I'm just saying that I'm bringing that up because we are conscious beings, you know? And back to the main point. Life is, we live to die. Living itself just seems so pointless if we're all like bred to die, but life is a blank canvas. You can imagine like a standard 8 by 12 piece of paper. The start of the paper is being born and the end is death. It's predestined that we are gonna die. You know, there's no immortality pill, there's no nothing, so we're gonna die. But that doesn't mean we can't fill in the blank canvas, you know? Just because the 8 by 12 paper, like let's say this is the paper, this is where the paper starts, this is the ending. You're born here, you die here. Just because we know how it starts, we know it, that doesn't mean you can't fill in the middle of something. You can't draw on the paper, you know? And it doesn't have to stay blank. Like a painter, we can choose our colors and color in our life. We can give life meaning. And a lot of people think that giving life a meaning is like getting the dream job, making a family, getting rich. But it doesn't really have to be, you know? Life could be waking up and smelling a rose, or combing our hair, brushing our teeth. It doesn't have to be something grand, you know? To build your own purpose and to create your own purpose, emphasis on your own purpose, you need to find something that drives you, something that gets you out of bed. Let me explain. Finding something that drives you is like, everyone says that, and they say it'll solve everything, but that's not the only thing that it does. I'll give you an example. Let's say, which is true, I drink a lot of water. My friends clown on me all the time, but I drink a lot of water. I get my plastic water bottle, microplastics, and I fill it up 8 to 9 times a day. I put little Sharpie marks to cover it, and that's my purpose for now. Let's just say that, okay? And that seems so like, bro, that's your purpose? That's so sad, but your purpose could be such little things, and one little thing could stem into something bigger. So the water example, I'm not just drinking water. I have to wake up early enough to drink one bottle before school so I don't rush it in school because your body can only absorb so much at one time. I have to find new routes to time my restroom visits. I'm sorry, that's gross, but you have to find new routes to time your restroom visits so that you're not late to class. Whenever I'm outside of school and hanging out with a friend, I have to make sure I drink at the appropriate time so I don't have to pee in the car. I have to make sure I go to bed early so I can wake up early enough to get that water. I have to make sure I exercise so I'm thirsty enough to drink this much water. Do you know what I mean? Setting one small, tiny goal, like, it creates a routine. It's like a tree, and it creates little branches. You know? Like, if you smell tulips in the morning, you have to start waking up early enough to get to the garden before sunrise. You have to go to bed early enough to get enough rest. You have to invest in gardening supplies. And to invest in gardening supplies, you have to save money. To save money, you find a new job. You know? And it creates a routine, and routines can create meaning. Before you know it, you've created a life that's worth living. And if we're all gonna die, why not make living worth it while we still can? You know what I mean? Like, life is so pointless, but each life doesn't have to be. We don't each get the same motivation given to us from birth, like the bumblebees. We all have different goals and different priorities and wishes, and that makes us human. Life is pointless, but my life isn't pointless. Life is pointless, but your life isn't pointless. Does that make sense? Life itself is the most pointless thing ever, but yours doesn't have to be. It's a cosmic universal concept. It's so... you don't need it, you know, it's just pointless, but I'm sorry, I keep using the word. And meaningless, but individuals and us people, we the people, can make it have a point. Nothing inherently matters, so we'd have to decide what matters. And we don't get to live forever, but you don't need to live forever to have a good life with a point. I said right now the point of my life is to drink water, and that's it currently. The purpose of my life right now is drinking water, but it doesn't have to stay that way. The nice thing about living is you're not forced into some box that you have to stay in forever. You could change, you could draft out. Like, you're always changing. You're a consistently changing individual, so don't force yourself in a box that you can never get out of. Don't label yourself something that you don't want to. Life is... everyone says there's a mystery of death, and that's true. We don't know what happens after we die. I mean, I'm religious, but inherently, we still fear it. We still fear death, you know? But you just don't make your life a worthwhile thing. It's just... I'm rambling, but the bottom line is... don't waste your life away trying to find a purpose that the universe will give you, because it will never give you one. Find little things that you like and that make life worth living. You don't want to just be alive but not living. You don't want to be like forced into some iron wand where you can't move, you can only breathe while everyone else is dancing around, you know? get stuck. Live. And it's all up to you. So many people wait for someone else to help them, or wait for society or like the world to give them something to do. But you could give yourself something to do. You could do it. I believe in you, and remember, nothing matters. No one will remember anything, so do whatever you want. Build your dream, build your future. Have fun. Do a little dance in the hallway. Sing your song loudly. No one will remember it, because we're all gonna die. Live a good life. It's worth it.